Good Friday. Almost 2,000 years ago, on a hill just outside the city of Jerusalem, 3 large wooden crosses were erected on a Friday morning. This normally meant that 3 criminals were about to face punishment for their crimes. The one on the right, likely a thief of tax money. The one on the left, likely a murderer. The one in the middle was charged with a combination of blasphemy of the Hebrew God and sedition to the Roman Empire. The problem was, this was simply the background to what was really going on. This Friday, in the scheme of things, was a part of a picture that was designed by God. We like pictures to be neat and clear. The problem with this picture was that it was more like the chaos and the meaningless threads on the back of a tapestry. You know there should be a picture, but all you see is disorder. Good Friday is not disordered. It is not meaningless. It is simply the back of the tapestry that is Easter Sunday. Without the wrong side, the beauty and design of the right side could not exist.
For generations without shame, Iscariot had been a name, in Kirioth that every one could trust until the only son of Simon came of age and broke his father's heart. The common folk had thought it strange that Simon stayed unmarried after Mary laid her fevered head on Simon's chest and died before her swollen breast. Gave one day's milk, he never told his parents why, nor did they scold or press him for another wife. For 30 years he lived his life, a widower with one great goal, to love his son and save his soul. No one but Simon knew what she had said that night. It was a plea, and full of boding pain she said, I fear, my love, that we have bred a child of woe, and I have dreamed a dream this night wherein it seemed that something out of the abyss is here, and if he should but kiss, it would mean death. O Simon, what have I brought forth and we begot? What evil deed and endless blot upon the name Iscariot? He held her in the candlelight and fearful quietness all night. Her last words, no matter what, do not despair, or sink in utter gloom or bear. What is not yours to bear, come near. Think not that you have failed, nor fear that God's unworthy of your trust, or that in this he is unjust. And thus she died, and Simon bowed above her restful face and vowed that she would marry none but give his love as long as he might live, to show his son the path of life and void the warnings of his wife. For 27 years he trained his son in righteous ways and drained the reservoir of love and hope, so low at times he scarce could cope with thankless days and brazen face and haughty eyes and sore disgrace. For years the boy stole offerings at the synagogue, and once he spat into the rabbi's face when he was caught. One time he said, I'll be the keeper of the king's account. Some day you'll watch, and the amount I steal from him will make this theft look like a petty thing, and so bereft of conscience Judas mocked the cares and pain of Simon and his prayers. The young men in the village said that Judas' boy would steal the bread and cup right off Messiah's plate. His father never laughed. For one last moment Judas stood and looked into his father's good. and loving eyes, then took his sack, and headed out the door, looked back, and said in 3 years, I will own more silver than you've ever known. And he was gone, and Simon wept. For weeks ate nothing, seldom slept, and almost sank in utter gloom, but for the words on Mary's tomb. Sink not in darkness nor despair, bear not what yours is not to bear. When you have loved and lost, then trust, the ways of God are always just. And so 3 years went by until one day, out on the northern hill of Kerioth, a large man walked before an ass-drawn cart and talked. To no one on the way he came and asked, Is there a man by name? Iscariot in town they showed him where the old man lived and bode his days alone in simple trade. Are you Iscariot? He laid the rope across his burly frame. I am, and who are you? My name is Peter. Yes, what brings you down to Kerioth, where not a town? The people come from Galilee to see what might your business be. I knew your son, old Simon stared. In Peter's face I knew you cared about your son, and so I brought him home for burial. I thought it would be easier to know that he had died than just to go on wondering. The old man stood in silence, staring at the wood-cased cart. Is that my son? He said. Yes, sir. How long has he been dead? I'm not quite sure. How did he die? He hanged himself. Do you know why? The question why has many layers, and Simon, some are the affairs of men and some of God alone. What we should know, we have been shown. The secret things belong to God, and there are paths we dare not trod. The old man smiled beneath his tears. You sound like someone many years ago. Yes, Simon, she spoke well. My master sent me here to tell you that her dying words were true, and I can vouch that he, like you, has wept beside the mouth of hell. But Simon, one is not to dwell forever weeping in that place, nor contemplate the end of grace. Too long remember what she said, and what you wrote when she was dead. Sink not in darkness nor despair, bear not what yours is not to bear. When you have loved and lost, then trust. The ways of God are always just. And so the light in candle 2 cannot suffice to answer you, if you would know before its time the deepest why of every crime. But trust for now what it reveals. The time will come for open seals.